Why do you think mental health is important for
That's a great,
employees and for anyone?
yeah, no, that's a great question. I can bring some real substance to this from a personal and professional perspective. I suffered from mental health for a long time, a real long time. I grew up in Brazil, came to the UK when I was very young, and I knew from a very young age, something just wasn't quite fitting. Something just wasn't quite right, and I think many of us experienced that. And we don't really understand our emotions from a young age, and if our parents, our family, our caregivers aren't equipped emotionally to teach us what they are, that can very quickly develop into mental illness, which there's a huge difference, as I understand today, between mental health and mental illness. And it is really important to have mental health, not just in mind, but in mind, body, and spirit. And I can explain why. We are a mind, body, spirit complex. That's what we are. That's what we're here. This is this beautiful vessel that carries us every single day. And if we don't look after it, it will suffer. It will suffer in mind, it will suffer in body, and it will suffer in spirit. So it is really important for you to have this self connection in mind, body, spirit. So you understand fully who you are, what you like, what you dislike, the good, the bad, the ugly, the incredible. Because I use these labels, but none of these labels actually even matter, because we are everything that we are. And when we learn to accept everything that we are, this is when we come into our true self, and we allow ourselves to just experience life. So, mental health is really, really important, especially in the workplace. When you're dealing with deadlines, and there is a lot of stress, depression, anxiety, not just in the workplace, but also outside of the workspace as well. And a lot of that begins from untreated trauma. And trauma can be anything from something very, very small. Your parents shouted at you and left you crying, to something then could be physical, sexual. It could be something that's quite severe. And we tend to label the little things as, well, that's not really important, but really focusing on the big things, when actually the real small things actually lead to the bigger trauma. So this is why I think it's really important for us to really understand what mental health is, and put good practices in place, especially
Yeah.
now with everything that's happened over the last couple of years. It's so important now that we move away from this. It's supposed to be a taboo. It's a trending thing. It's something that is a must, always has been, always will be, because it's the person you look in the mirror that you need to care for the most.
Yeah, and also it's very important for sustainable businesses and of course for sustainable health. And I have actually two questions. The first thing is, because we are in the, I mean, I myself have been, and I think you feel the same, because we've been in the health and wellness industry for a long time, teaching breath work, mental health. We think as if everybody gets it, like, everybody understands it. And then I meet people from the corporate environment and they have no idea. It's like, what? Wellness, mental wellness, breath work. What do you have to say about that? Because it's very interesting for me. I mean, it's like, you're, for example, leaders, C-level executives in the in the company. It's like, how can you not know about the importance of mental health? It's like you're working with humans,
Mhm.
and those humans, everything depends on their, mental and physical health. Of course, everything depends on their health and wellness. Your company's
Mhm.
future depends on your employees' health and wellness. What do you have to say about that? It's like, isn't it surprising that it's just a new trend and something new, and we haven't, like, most people haven't been aware of, about this fact that, you know people do need to stay healthy and well to be productive and, help your business succeed.
Absolutely. And do you know what's really interesting with what you've just touched on there? I see this myself all the time, whether it's a client I work with on a one-to-one basis, whether it's a business I'm working with. This is it's the it's the topic of question, because everybody wants to know about wellness, well-being. Everybody wants to know how to feel good, but it's very interesting and actually quite sad that people don't know how to do this for yourself, when in fact everything that we have is inside of us. Everything, all the solutions, everything that we need in order to heal in mind, body, spirit is inside of us. But here's the reason why people don't know about it. Society has removed us from the self connection. They have removed us from everything that we are. So in fact, how is anybody expected to know how to look after themselves when their key focus is on everything externally? If we look at everything that's on TV, everything that's on social media, every advert that's out there, all the products, everything that is out there is to provide a solution, but it's not to provide a solution that will help you in the long term. Is to help provide a temporary solution. And how I see this, especially with the work that I do around mental health and addiction, all of these things, and including myself, I've been there myself, in distracting myself, numbing myself with these external things that have been, all these big, beautiful, bright lights, and everything is shiny. And we go towards all these shiny things thinking, this is going to fix me. This is going to solve my problem. And we post it on Facebook and on social media, and our life looks beautiful and fantastic. But deep inside, we're still dying inside. Some people are still struggling. Some people still think about committing suicide, and the important thing, the truth behind it is that we've been taken away, from our true essence in being able to allow ourselves to experience our emotions, to understand who we truly are. This has become the norm, especially here in the UK, where it's very common and very normal for people to brush everything under the carpet. And it's a laughable conversation when I talk to CEOs, when I talk to businesses, when I even talk to friends. It's something that, wow, God, you're so open and so confident in talking about your emotions. I wasn't always like this, but it's one of these things that they do just get brushed under the carpet. And I think most of society have got accustomed to just brushing everything under the carpet. And in fact, they got scared. People have become scared of connecting with their emotions. They love the positive stuff. Everybody wants to feel happy. Everybody wants to cheer and to have a great time. But when it comes to connecting with the things that continuously keep popping up all the time, which is that emotional suffering, which we go through all the time in mind, in body, in spirit. And the longer and longer we continue to do this and not allowing ourselves to experience all of our emotions, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, and this is where we continue to suffer. And a lot of people seem to think that this is normal. I've heard people say to me, even when we're going through a healing process or I'm speaking at businesses and I give them, the tools, the technique, I take them through my own personal journey to let people know, how deep, how bad things can get. And they see me now and they're like, yeah, but surely you can't be happy all the time. Well, of course not. Happiness is temporary. But the thing is finding that fulfillment and acceptance that you can live a good life, a fulfilled life. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't mean, I think it's a false message to say to people that in order for you to be mentally healthy, you have to be happy all the time. That's a lie. If you want to be strong as a man, as a woman, in mind, body, spirit, you have to be able to accept and allow every single emotion to come up. Why? Because the suffering becomes less and less and less the more you allow yourself to deal with it. Our bodies aren't meant to keep pain, suffering, trauma. And we feel this, in the body, we feel it in the mind, we feel it, some people have sore necks, sore backs, sore joints. And then they talk about being stressed, being anxious, being depressed, because the body is telling you, this is the way of your body telling you, let go, please. It's almost like imploring of you. It's getting you to suffer, for you to listen to yourself and say, please let go of this, because we are suffering.